Where were we? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just finished the long conversations.
Well, you say just finished. We finished
That's the last thing that happened in
3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and I remember all the facts.
Do you? Alright, well then, you can be the person...
I remember no facts.
You can
about
be the
any
person
of this.
that tells me all about these 5 dudes. And their business. Because...
And their business?
Right. This guy was the crook. The Fink, like the rat. Police informant. Yeah. With the interesting voice. He's the posh dude that owns the
Dagger
all
of
the stuff.
Amon.
All the stuff. He's angry that the dagger was stolen, as you would be, and he's a pompous arse. She's French and horny.
Yeah.
Was she French and horny? I think she was horny.
Was she horny?
She seemed to be super, like... Yeah.
That was Was that Delacroix?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't he in Vampire the Masquerade?
I thought that was Lacroix.
I don't know. It could be Lacroix. She seemed like... Yeah, she seemed a bit, like, saucy. I don't know. But also, yeah, I can't remember anything else about her.
I thought she was just interested in money. That's what I remembered. But
oh, maybe. It might be me projecting. That guy was
Ramses Najir.
Yeah, what was his business?
He was the accountant, the Egyptian accountant guy.
These notes that you took.
Mhm.
I was like, how have you just spooled off Ramses Najir off the top of your head? Wow. I can barely remember any of this.
By my 3 weeks' memory.
I am the best detective in the world. And then this guy was the owner of the museum, right? He's just come into it.
And we think he's sus because we think we saw he died and he owned the trunk with the dead body in it.
Yeah, and everyone's saying, like, his face isn't the same anymore, or something.
Well, they're going, nobody recognises him. So this guy, what was his actual name? Pippin Carter.
Nice, Pippin. Pipsy.
Was said, oh yeah, if he didn't say, I wouldn't have known I wouldn't have recognised him.
Yeah, which is an odd thing to say. I guess he's new, isn't he?
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, the guy he's pretending to be, assuming that he is pretending to be him, is a recent person hired to this position, I think.
Yeah, I think that's correct. Then there's also the Countess, who we haven't met yet, who they were talking about.
They've got a thing, right?
They've got a thing now, but she used to be the ex-last owners.
What, lady? Wife?
I think.
Or...
Lady, wife, I don't know, I don't remember
Bird.
now, but yeah, they've now got something going on.
Right. Okay.
And Ziggy.
That was a long time talking to them, and kind of a shame that we then immediately took a 3-week break.
Yeah.
After that. I can't get over these two. What a position to be frozen in. What are they doing? One of them might be handing a sandwich to the other one, or a cigar, or they might be dancing. It's hard to tell.
You could be handing a sandwich over.
Like, why are their hands both extended out? Like, they look like they're doing Ring a Ring of Roses. Like,
yeah, I mean they're
forever.
They're in a pose.
They're in quite the pose.
I think the last thing we worked out was that we can go left and right.
Yes, we are ace detectives.
Well, that's the last thing we noticed before we...
Okay, so I'm going to ask you then, left or right?
Let's go right. Why not?
Why not? Well, that's why. Oh my god, there's more frozen people at the party.
Ah, there's a
Well, they're in the same position!
This is just something the upper classes do.
Well, playing me the elaborate large game of musical statues.
With loads of space in the middle.
Yeah, right.
So I imagine this is going to be Countess. I've just written Countess WC. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, she looks more interactable than the others. So let's get into another chat.
Hi, I'm Laura Bow, and I'm covering this event for the Tribune Society news column.
Good evening, Miss Bow. I'm the Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carleton. Please be sure to spell my name right in your story.
She's got some capitalizations. Is that it? Oh, it was...
No, you've got to go through the question
Good evening,
version.
Countess.
Good evening, Miss Bow.
Yeah, you've got to go through the question version.
Of course.
Do you remember how to navigate this menu?
I do. Select, then exit.
I haven't had the pleasure of meeting him, but he sounds simply charming. I imagine a man who runs a newspaper must be quite wealthy,
Not these days. Okay.
Ah, truly a man of great ambition and integrity,
She likes saying,
That's her. That's going to be her.
It's her peccadillo. That's
Yeah.
her little tick.
Dr. Carrington, what about him? I know very little about the man.
Now that's odd. I could have sworn Mr. Dorian said that you met Dr. Carrington in a taxi when he arrived on the Andrea Doria.
Yes, so what if I did? I mean, yes,
What?
I did meet him that night. Our families are, old allies from the time of the War with Roses. I felt obliged to meet him upon his arrival. Noblesse oblige, you understand.
I don't understand. What's noblesse oblige?
The obligation of the nobility.
What?
What?
Did you translate that, or are you just familiar?
I do know that because of a there's a manga I read called that, and it's entirely about the idea that the people in power have the responsibility to take care of the people, or the people with wealth and nobility have the responsibility to take care of the people that are less fortunate.
How appropriate. Did you catch her accent slip?
Yes.
That very subtle accent.
I could have missed it. I'll be
Cool,
honest.
blimey, governor! What are we supposed to infer from that? She's not posh.
She's not posh.
She's not posh. She's not a posho.
Like that. This is all a fake, which explains why she's into money. If she's
It doesn't have any.
yeah.
That would explain everything. Yeah, let's keep going. Just get it over with. That was all Pippin Carter, was it?
Yeah, I think. No, that was Carrington. You just did Carrington.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because that was Pippin Carter's was really short.
What did she
was
say
just,
about him? Oh my god.
She just said a man of integrity or whatever
Oh, okay.
the line was, and Carrington was like, him? I don't know him. Oh wait, yes I do.
And he's the man who we think's a fake right now.
Yes.
Yep. I'll get there, I promise. I'll try. I'm trying my hardest. It's something about this interface just sucks the life out of me.
Well, to tell you the truth, dear girl, I find him to be a crude, uncultured ruffian.
Cool. Who was that about? Detective.
Oh, I do enjoy a bit of crodfoller with my tea.
Is crodfoller a food?
I'm sure I've never met him, Miss Bow. I've never met your father, dear girl. He's a policeman, you say. How delightful.
What if funny we're going around asking everyone about our dad.
Yeah, I like that as well.
And it's just in the middle.
He seems a perfectly dreadful little fellow. Let's not discuss him.
Fair enough. I'm alright with that.
Oh, he's a darling little man. Just darling.
Tell me about Steve Dorian.
What a lovely boy. He has such charming manners, and he's so handsome,
Tell me about yourself.
Why, that's me, silly child. Countess Lavinia Waldorf Carleton.
They're making it sound like we're asking, have you heard of this person to that person? Like, rather than, like, tell me more about yourself.
Yeah.
Which is entirely a reasonable question to ask someone. It's the most reasonable question out of all of this. It's this thing that these games can't get.
That's really normal to ask about someone to them.
Yeah, if we're in just a party, like, talking, it's weird to be like, tell me everything you know about Ramesses Najir.
What do you make of this Steve Dorian fellow?
Yeah, who's not even here.
Yeah, who's not even here.
This dock worker, but I don't know whether you know, but I did mention him earlier, so you probably do.
Oh, Mr. Heimlich is simply dreadful. I think his tiny taste of authority has gone to his little head. Don't you, Miss Bow? I'm afraid I haven't read your newspaper, dear girl. I try to avoid the news. I find it distressing. We live in such terrible times.
But have you had a good year?
Well, they have a job to do, I suppose. Oh, heavens, my dear. My laundry is done by my maids.
Weird emphasis. Maids!
The docks are dreadful, rough places, Miss Bow. Simply dreadful. I think the Leyendecker is simply divine, don't you?
It's not bad.
New York is simply charming, Miss Bow. It has so much culture for an American city.
Ooh.
Miss Bow, you must be sure to avoid such dens of iniquity. They can only ruin a young lady's reputation. Oh, you jot everything down. How very industrious of you.
Ah!
Didn't select it.
It's wise to observe what goes on around you, dear girl. I always do.
It's good to look about. It's very insightful.
Countess, has 1926 been a good year for you?
Oh, no, dear girl. It's been absolutely horrid. My darling husband Sterling died this year, you know. I don't know what I'll do without him.
I'm terribly sorry to hear that, Countess.
Well, aren't you the sweet little thing? Thank you, my dear.
Right. Do you think it's weird that it voices that
One question.
for us?
Yeah, that's just what was going through my head then.
Yeah.
It's weird that one question has an actual question.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make
Oh,
of the
listen,
theft
maybe
of
it's
the
just-
Dagger of
Clearly not.
Amon Raw, Countess?
But nothing before
Oh,
this
it's
section.
horrid. Simply horrid. What sort of creature would make off with a priceless work of art, I wonder?
Well, I mean, no one ever does
Do you
that.
have any ideas about who it might have been?
Oh, my, no! I try not to associate with dreadful people, dear girl.
Hmm. Tell me about
Do
Egyptology.
you know much much about Egyptology, Countess?
Only a little, dear girl. I find it quite diverting.
Okay. Right. So what did we learn from her? She's not quite who she says she is, or at least who she is acting like.
Yeah.
And she doesn't mind that her husband is dead, really. She's had a great year.
Actually Cockney.
Yeah, she's actually a Cockney. You are a Cockney, a secret Cockney. We'll rumble you. Do you think we should go to the gift shop, or do you think we should check the other portion of this very large round room?
I think we should check the gift shop out,
Okay.
since we're here.
I'm going to assume we can't talk to any of these statues.
No, they just scoff at us.
Excuse me, we're playing a game.
Oh.
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 I mean, this is how I would... how could anything get stolen from this place?
What are these at the back?
These
Glass
guys?
no, the glass. What are those?
Are they daggers of Amon Ra? Just loads of them.
It looks just like the Dagger of Amon Ra. Isn't it beautiful?
Take.
You can't touch the daggers on display in the locked case.
Oh.
I'm
Do you think the real one's in there?
suspicious. Shall we use the
Brick?
we've got
Do we have a brick?
the magnifying glass? No. Not the brick.
Do
Not
we
a brick. We don't have a brick. I'm just wondering if, like, you can examine them.
You bloody well can. Made in Pittsburgh.
The dagger shows Pittsburgh's high... The dagger shows...
Can I look at more than one?
I can't tell if you can or not based on that alone.
It's... Yeah.
I
mean, I didn't-
one right at the end.
Yeah, I didn't move.
That's not... Upon close ins... That's not... Upon close...
Stuff
That's
it.
not... Upon close...
That's really annoying because you can't.
Maybe I move.
Yeah.
Oh, hello. This one's not made in Pittsburgh.
The dagger shows a high degree of craftsmanship.
Certainly not from Pittsburgh. Do you think this is the real dagger? Have we solved the case?
Is this
You
where it
can't
is?
touch...
Right, we're done. Let's go and tell everyone.
Fräulein, this gift shop is closed. You should not be here.
Oh, I'm sorry. The door was unlocked.
Unlocked? My assistant will be disciplined harshly for this mistake. Please rejoin the party now. I will be forced to injure you.
What?
What has happened?
You'll be forced to injure us if we don't comply. Also, it's nice of them not to show him goose stepping or anything. Right. We couldn't have told him there's the dagger.
Yeah, I mean...
Shouldn't we be telling everyone there's the dagger? The dagger's
Well,
in the gift shop.
I guess it depends on whether Laura Bow has worked out.
What, we have to wait for her to catch up?
That was the real one, right? That's how that
I mean,
works.
it wasn't made in Pittsburgh. Why would they all say made in Pittsburgh except for...
No. I agree. That's what we're supposed to know, right? But she didn't say anything about it, is kind of the problem.
Also, time progressed when we looked at that one,
That's true, that was...
which is the clearest indicator that something
it was important.
pertinent
Yeah.
just happened. But, yeah, no, you were on the right track, looking at that stuff and hiding it in plain sight.
Well, At first I didn't think they were daggers.
We found the Dagger of Amon.
We know exactly where it is.
Who's the person to tell? You own this place. Oh, I'm
You're
gonna...
sus,
Good
though.
evening, Dr. Carrington.
Good evening, Miss.
I don't care, you're a suspect. I'm gonna tell you in front of all these other people.
I'm really very busy, Miss Bow.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I bet we don't have anything new.
Just let me... We've got it!
We could have this sold for you.
Yeah, I
Seconds.
could go home.
I guess we're not allowed because we haven't discovered that a murder's happened yet.
Look, we've solved this. This is not necessary anymore. You left it in your display case. No one stole it.
Who are these people?
That one looks like he's holding his breath. Some of these look interactable. That guy's got a fez. And that guy must be the guy with a fez from the cutscene. So we got more people to talk to. Great.
You didn't introduce yourself.
No, I'm just going to start asking about Sam Augustini.
It's a cold
I do
open.
not know this individual.
Or you.
You ask yourself.
Should I maybe start with the icebreaker?
You must be Dr. Patosh.
Yeah, should have started with that.
Smith. Nice gold ankh you're wearing. This is quite a party, isn't it?
I find it distasteful to celebrate thievery in the name of science.
Well,
The
luckily.
artifacts in this museum's Egyptian collection do not belong here. They belong in Egypt.
That's only your opinion.
Yeah,
It
alright.
is the truth.
Fair enough.
And the thieves who rob Egypt of its ancient treasures will find death waiting for them. Amon-Ra will have his revenge.
I see. Well, nice weather we're having.
I'm kind of with this guy. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be like, everyone's gonna die. That's suspicious. But,
Maybe shouldn't be doing that when there's potential deaths going around.
yeah. Also,
But nobody knows about
we
it.
know where the dagger is, so just go get it. It's
You
fine.
dare to mention his name to me? He is the blasphemous temple destroyer and tomb robber who stole the Dagger of Amon-Ra from Egypt. He will know the full force of the curse of the pharaohs.
It'll be really
The
bad
curse
if he
of the
dies
pharaohs.
next.
What's that?
The defilers of the great Egyptian tombs and temples will all die as a result of their crimes. The gods themselves will punish them. The great Amon-Ra will snuff out Peepin' Carter's life as easily as I can crush a dung beetle under my shoe.
How will this happen?
Amon-Ra works in mysterious ways. You will have to wait and see.
It's just trying to sound as suspicious as possible.
I had hoped that Dr. Carrington would listen to reason. I had made another appointment to speak with him about the return of the Dagger of Amon-Ra to its rightful home. But this seems futile since it is no longer in the museum.
Yeah, it is.
Another appointment? You spoke to Dr. Carrington once already?
Only by phone. He denied Egypt's claim to the dagger. It was hoped that a personal visit would convince him of our sincerity. But the situation has changed since then.
He's just on the other screen.
I believe he's investigating the burglary of the Dagger of Amon-Ra. Perhaps, if he'd stopped drinking, he might have a chance at finding it.
Uh-oh.
I still have some trouble with your language. I do not know this Crodfeller. It is some sort of local delicacy?
No one knows what Crodfoller is.
I do not understand the term low-fat. Perhaps it is because I learned English in Egypt. The English longbow was a formidable weapon. The English won the Battle of Agincourt against formidable odds because they were equipped with longbows.
I said John Bow, not Longbow.
I've never heard of a John bow. It must have been an American invention.
We're having fun with this guy.
Never heard of it. Ramses I was pharaoh during the 19th dynasty, from 1307 to 1306 BC. But Ramses II made more of an impact on ancient Egypt. Ramses II was responsible for gargantuan construction projects which left his mark on the face of Egypt for thousands of years. I admire his great works and hope to emulate his feats someday.
Actually, I was referring to Ramses Najia.
Nigeria's... never heard of him.
Are you sure you don't know him?
No? I mean, yes. English is such a difficult language.
Does he know him?
I don't know.
No follow-up? Okay, right. And now we don't know. Steve Dorian.
Do you know Steve Dorian? He works at the docks.
I don't associate with common dock workers, madam.
Right.
I have only met her briefly, but she seems to have a sincere concern about my problems. A charming woman.
So many problems.
Heimlich is that annoying guard who works here. His fanatical devotion to his occupation is admirable, but he seems lacking in his mental capacities.
Right. Oh, okay. Now what places? Do we really have to ask everyone everything?
Hey, that's, I think, because that's what we found out in the last session, wasn't it? That was when we looked at the guide for a bit.
Ineffective.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
it did say ask everyone everything, I think.
Probably
just won't know, would we? You have to.
Cut his hands off?
It is the proper punishment for thieves. Tradition demands it. We find it very effective in our country.
Right.
I have not been in this country long enough to discuss the merits of your laundry establishments.
How about the docks?
I arrived there on the Andrea Doria 1 week ago. If I had known Dr. Carrington was aboard that ship, I would have spoken to him at length during the voyage.
He didn't know Carrington was on the ship either.
No.
This could be a fine museum.
So he didn't replace him.
Return its stolen Egyptian artifacts to their proper home.
Why not?
Well, because everyone's acting like Carrington wasn't on the ship, and then suddenly he appears, and it's like, oh, he's on the ship.
Yeah, but he did clearly, didn't he?
Yeah, well, he literally replaced a human.
Yeah, but then there'd be a real Carrington around.
But would there? But why are they taking such pains to make it like clear that no one knew Carrington was on the ship?
But they're also making it so that nobody knows what he looks like either.
Do you think that's just to explain away the fact that the guy was easily able to replace him and no one saw him? Because obviously if everyone saw him prior to the switch, then it might be less kind of believable that someone replaced him. That happened in Cruise for Corpse as well, didn't it? That was the same plot. People are always switching with other people.
That one was really different though, in that everyone knew him closely, and yet when he switched, they couldn't tell.
Yeah, so maybe they've learnt from this game, or from that game, by saying no one saw him.
Nobody's seen this guy before.
Yeah.
Since you're new here, what do you think of New York? Isn't it exciting?
It reminds me of Cairo, except that it's colder here, and the people are obnoxious. My English is not good enough to speak easy, but I think it's improving. Taking notes is a typically American thing to do. In Egypt, we remember everything we need to know because our mental capacities are greater. I forget nothing.
We'll see about that. Maybe.
It should come in handy for examining things. However, I would warn you to be careful about what you choose to examine.
What do you mean? What do you think we're going to examine?
Would you say this has been a good year for you, sir?
No. The great treasures of my country's past are leaving Egypt in a flood greater than the Nile.
As I understand it, artifacts only leave your country with the approval of the Egyptian Antiquities Service.
Bah! The Antiquities Service is a tool of the British. If they want to steal something, they steal it, just like the ancient tomb robbers. But they will pay, just as the tomb robbers paid whenever they were caught.
That almost sounds like a threat.
I, Patash Uptat Smith, do not threaten. I merely carry out the will of the great Amon Ra.
Have you heard anything about the burglary?
No?
Do you have any idea who would want to steal the Dagger of Amon Ra?
It has already been stolen once, from Egypt.
Come on, we get
I
it.
can see I won't get anywhere with you on this topic.
I'm with her. Jeez. I sympathise, but bloody hell.
Since you're an expert on the subject, what can you tell me about Egyptology?
I can tell you everything was stolen.
The study of ancient Egyptian history is of the greatest significance. Many of our modern religious customs originated in the ancient world. The time of the great pharaohs and of the great Egyptian gods was the peak of human civilization. Our modern society is a mere shadow of its former glory when compared to the pinnacle of human development reached by the ancient Egyptians. They knew the truth, and the truth was Amon-Ra. He led Egypt to world domination.
Aren't you exaggerating just a teensy bit?
I would not expect you to understand. You are not an Egyptian, and you are a woman.
What's that supposed to mean?
I grow tired of this topic. Speak of something else if you wish to continue our conversation.
And I will bend it back round to the theft of my Egyptian property. You thick American woman. Right. Do you think these people are...
A severe,
I hope
conservative, middle-aged woman with an intelligent look in her eye.
I hope you're not tired of these conversations.